This is an ASMR audiobook original, a place for soft stories, whispered worlds, and peaceful dreams. Tonight's story is The Cloudmaker's Secret, Volume 5, The Whisper Clock. Welcome back to The Cloudmaker's Secret, a place where time moves differently. Not forward, but gently outward, like ripples across the air. Take a deep breath in and out. Feel the quiet ticking beneath your chest, the heartbeat of a story waiting to be told. The Cloudmaker's workshop shimmered like glass. Dozens of silver instruments lined the walls, each humming its own tone. Elara traced her fingers across them. Every object made a sound. A bell, a chime, a soft metallic note. But in the center stood something silent. A clock made of mist. Its hands were invisible, its face blank. Pinned beside it was a scrap of vapor ink. Time is not measured, it is remembered. Elara turned, but the Cloudmaker was gone. Only the soft pulse of clouds remained, ticking in her ears like a heartbeat far away. She followed the faint beat into the sky. Mist curled around her ankles. Tiny bells hung from threads of light. Each time she brushed one, it sang a note, low, then high, then low again, like a melody she almost knew. At the end of the path, she found an old door, carved into the cloud itself. On its surface was a spiral of numbers, slowly shifting as though alive. She pressed her palm against it and whispered. The door dissolved. A warm glow poured through, and the sound grew clearer. A steady ticking made of light. Inside, countless gears turned in slow motion, each one suspended in air, each made from shimmering drops of rain. They moved not by mechanics, but by memory, spinning only when someone remembered love, laughter, loss. Elara reached toward one gear. It began to turn. A faint scene appeared within it. A woman waiting by a window, watching rain slide down the glass. Her voice whispered His eyes reflected the turning gears. "This is where time is born," he said, "not to count what has passed, but to remind the world to feel." He lifted his hand and touched the center of the clock. Instantly, the gears slowed. Silence fell like snow. "Listen closely," he whispered. "When the world is too loud, time waits for those who still hear the quiet." Elara nodded. The silence wasn't empty. It was alive. She could hear her own heartbeat, matching the pulse of the clouds. A soft tremor shook the chamber. The blank clock from the workshop floated through the mist, glowing gently. Elara placed her hand upon it. It felt like water, but warm. Suddenly, voices filled the air. The voices of raindrops, winds, and people she'd met in dreams. Tick for the tears that taught you to see. Talk for the laughs that made you free. Each word became a note. Each note became a glow. The clock began to turn, slowly, beautifully. Its hands were no longer visible. They were made of light and sound. The Cloudmaker smiled. "Now you hear it, don't you?" Elara whispered, "Yes, it's the sound of now." As the clock turned, the entire sky began to hum. Clouds froze mid-drift. Stars paused in their slow circle. Time itself held its breath. Elara looked at the Cloudmaker. "What happens now?" He answered, smiling softly. "Now the world remembers that there is no rush to be." He gestured to the clock. "When you hear its whisper, pause. That pause is a gift." Elara closed her eyes and breathed with the sky. The sound of the clock was barely there. A soft pulse between heartbeats. Elara remained beside the whisper clock long after it began to glow. The air felt different now. Not heavy, but aware. The sound of the ticking was not constant. It was breathing. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Each one carried a feeling, a heartbeat, a sigh, a single note of someone's life. She reached out and touched the light between the hands. It shimmered and folded outward like a curtain made of time. children running through rain, a couple holding lanterns, an old woman humming to the night. They all existed at once. No order, no before, nor after, just being. Elara whispered, "Is that what time looks like? Before it becomes time." The Cloudmaker appeared beside her, his presence soft as the mist around a sunrise. "It is what time sounds like," he said, "before anyone decides what it should mean." He raised his hand, and the moments began to hum, tiny voices merging into a low, endless chord. It wasn't a song with words. It was a vibration, a resonance of everything that had ever mattered. Elara closed her eyes. Her heartbeat slowed. She could feel each sound as color. The blue of forgiveness, the golds of longing, the pinks of quiet joy. Every color has its own second, the Cloudmaker said, and every second has its own sound. He turned the whisper clock gently, and its light spilled outward, revealing 1,000 threads of silver reaching through the clouds, each one connected to someone below, a sleeping soul, a heart in prayer, a dream not yet dreamt. Elara stepped closer. When she brushed one of the threads, she saw a boy beneath it, asleep beside a window, the rain tapping gently on the glass. The thread pulsed softly. The boy smiled in his sleep. "Does he hear us?" Elara asked. "Not with his ears," said the Cloudmaker. "With his rest." He touched another thread. A woman kneeling by candlelight. Another, an empty swing moving in twilight. Another, a poet whispering a line no one will ever read out loud. "All of them," said the Cloudmaker, "are part of the same rhythm." He smiled at her. "You hear it now, don't you?" Elara listened. At first it sounded like rain, then wind, then the sound of her own breath, until she realized they were all the same thing. "That is the song between sounds," the Cloudmaker whispered. "The place where time forgets itself. The place where peace begins." Elara closed her eyes again. For a moment, she felt her body dissolve. Her shape, her name, her memories, everything floating like cloud light. When she opened them, the whisper clock was no longer an object before her. It was everywhere, in every droplet, every heartbeat, every pause. The Cloudmaker smiled once more. "You've heard it now," whispered to the air, "I listen." And the sky whispered back, "We know." When she opened her eyes, the workshop was quiet again. The whisper clock sat where it had always been,